Let Them Eat Pills, Let Them Eat Pills, Jennifer Sue.
Who said let them eat cake upon learning that the peasants had no bread to eat? Although that statement is widely attributed to Marie, there's really no proof that she actually said it. But regardless of that, the saying has come to represent a callous disregard for the suffering of others. Now, in America, there are people who are currently experiencing hunger, but widespread bread shortages, like in the days of Louis XVI, don't really exist in America. Maybe there's a whole set of different problems and issues that arise when our bellies are full. Maybe as a populace, we suffer from spiritual famine today. Pope Benedict XVI, another the 16th like Louis, said, "In so many of our prosperous societies, a spiritual desert is spreading, an interior emptiness, an unnamed fear, a quiet sense of despair." Is he right? And how does spiritual famine manifest itself? What do we try to fill ourselves up with? According to a report released in 2011 by the National Center for Health Statistics, the rate of antidepressant use in teens and adults has increased by 400% from 1998 to 2008. This might support Pope Benedict's assertion that we're suffering from a sense of despair. Federal government health statisticians figure that about 1 in every 10 Americans takes antidepressants. So statistically, there may be several among us that need help coping with our feelings. Now, the United States is not alone in a surge of antidepressant use. Use of these drugs has increased across the rich world over the past decade, according to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Was all this predicted by Aldous Huxley in his novel Brave New World, where the population consumes a recreational drug called Soma that's dispensed by the government to blunt unhappiness, anxiety, and suppress dangerous thought? Proponents of antidepressants say comparisons like this are reactionary and paranoid nonsense. Depression has been treated as a shameful condition, neglected and overlooked in the past. Failure to treat depression can result in dire consequences. But despite the potential benefits of antidepressants, before making a decision on your own regarding whether or not they're overprescribed and overused, it's important to consider some facts about the pharmaceutical industry, some potential side effects of antidepressants, as well as the complexity of human emotions and experiences. So first of all, facts about the major pharmaceutical companies. They are very, very wealthy indeed. They enjoy enormous profits, 3 to 6 times greater than other Fortune 500 companies, according to the book Confessions of an RX Drug Dealer by Gwen Folsom. An IMS health report ranked antidepressants as the leading therapy class by prescription volume in 2007, and that year in the US, they raked in a cool $11.9 billion in sales. The large profits that pharmaceutical companies enjoy are not driven by volume alone, but by price fixing in the United States as well. According to a February 13, 2006 article in the Boston Globe by Jerome Kastner, pharmaceutical lobbying groups spend about $2 billion annually to influence politicians to do their bidding. Maybe this explains why Americans pay on average 75% more for prescription drugs than neighboring countries and Western Europe. Now, according to the same article, pharmaceutical companies spend nearly $20 billion to influence the nation's 600 to 700,000 physicians to prescribe the newest and most expensive drugs. There's an inherent conflict of interest for politicians and doctors receiving favor from this industry. So all the more reason to educate ourselves about the potential side effects of drugs, including antidepressants, before taking them. According to a study by Bragan and Cohen, more than 40,000 adverse reactions were reported in Prozac's first 10 years on the market. Possible adverse side effects of antidepressants, including Prozac, are mania, suicide, sexual dysfunction, weight gain, and over 50 symptoms associated with discontinuance syndrome, to name a few. There have been multiple high-profile murders, including the Columbine tragedy and suicide cases associated with antidepressant use. Here's a story. Fran Turner, an emergency medical responder in Tacoma, Washington, suffered a serious injury at work. She then had to undergo surgery and had an adverse reaction to anesthesia, which caused a stroke. The painful and debilitating side effects resulted in depression, and she sought help from a psychiatrist. This is the suicide letter she left addressed to her psychiatrist. I was depressed, so you fed me Prozac. I couldn't sleep, so you fed me Halcyon and Cinnapon. When I was pushed beyond my limits, you ordered Xerax. These drugs were your choice of treatment, not mine. If anyone's responsible for staying on them for too long, it's you, not me. Your course of treatment was to deal with the symptoms, not the underlying causes. The next time you order your favorite drugs for someone, think of me and be aware that patients need the counseling skills you've learned far more than the drugs your MD allows you to cop out with. Fran's final words are a reminder that we are much more than our body chemistry, which antidepressants tamper with. The biopsychosocial model of depression considers several factors. The first, biology, including genes, brain chemistry, medical conditions, and drugs. Psychology, our feelings, desires, thoughts, and patterns of behavior. And sociology, the events and people in our lives that affect and influence us. Although drugs are a quick fix for busy, overtaxed doctors, they don't address all aspects of our humanity. As Fran Turner stated in her suicide letter, they only address symptoms of depression and not necessarily the underlying causes. So finally, I ask you to consider that psychiatry has given us some harmful, now debunked drugs. In the 1950s, LSD was used to aid in psychoanalysis, to cure alcoholism, and to clear up mental disorders. It's now generally considered a bad idea to drop acid. Angel dust was used as a painkiller and an anesthetic. Sigmund Freud was a strong supporter of cocaine for medicinal uses in psychiatry. That is before he became addicted himself. A little skepticism can be a healthy thing. Albert Einstein said, blind belief in authority is the greatest enemy of the truth. While antidepressants may be beneficial for treating depression in many cases, we should make an informed decision about them. For Fran Turner, her doctor's attitude of let them eat pills was a callous disregard for her suffering. Perhaps it's time for a pharmaceutical industry revolution.